Welcome to another amazing episode of our movie. Trust me, you are going to love this one, I bet you. At the end of this movie, please don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to get more of our latest releases. Just relax and enjoy. The movie begins with a beautiful young girl running into her classroom because she's late for school. Meanwhile, a teacher is already teaching and stops her, asking why she came in late. He then insults her, saying she smells like a goat, and warns her never to be late for his class again, or he will punish her. She then heads to her seat. Here come Ray and his best friend Sharon. As they finish for the day, they come out talking, waiting for Ray's kid sister. After a while, she arrives, and Ray playfully tries to scold her for being late. They all joke around, and then ask Sharon if she would like to go with them. She says her mom has just returned from a trip to Europe, and her driver will be there soon to pick her up, so they say their goodbyes. Later that day, Sharon arrives home and is on a call ordering a designer bag that costs 500,000 naira. When the house help, Betty, enters and overhears her, Sharon immediately ends the call, asking how long Betty has been standing there and what she may have overheard. Betty assures her she didn't hear anything, and Sharon warns her not to interfere, then leaves. Soon after, Sharon goes to her mom and gives her a list of things she wants to buy, including school supplies and cosmetics, totaling 500,000 naira. She actually needs the money for the designer bag. Her mom is initially puzzled, noting that she has recently bought her these items, but Sharon manages to convince her. Her mom promises to send the money, and as she gets up to retrieve her phone, Betty quietly suggests her mom recheck the list. However, Sharon returns, and Betty quickly changes the topic and leaves. Sharon's mom calls her accountant to send the money, and Sharon is thrilled. That same day, Ray is out driving and is surprised to see Gift, the girl who was late to class, pushing her mother in a wheelchair along the roadside, still in her school uniform. He wonders what's going on. That night, Gift makes food for her family, and they all eat together. Her mother is very ill and cannot see, so Gift gently encourages her to eat before she herself begins to eat. The next morning, Gift is late for school again. The teacher scolds her, disappointed, and says that she isn't even worthy of the school, mentioning that she's only allowed in because of her scholarship. He punishes her and leaves the classroom. Later after school, Ray and his sister Sonia wait for their driver. Ray sees Gift heading home and wonders what's going on. He wants to find out more, so he persuades his sister to go home with Sharon, explaining he needs to go somewhere. Sonia is reluctant but finally agrees. When Sharon arrives and Sonia mentions going with her, she wonders where Ray has gone, looking worried. Meanwhile, Ray follows Gift without her noticing. He watches her help her mom inside, wash clothes, and eat with her siblings. He feels pity for her as he observes her environment. Eventually, he follows her to her small business selling bean cakes and watches as she serves her customers, feeling even more sympathy for her. At dinner, Ray's mom asks how they're preparing for their exams, and Sonia responds eagerly, but Ray is lost in thought. His mom notices and asks what's bothering him, but he says nothing. She then asks where they'd like to go for summer break. Sonia suggests London, but her mom suggests a new destination since they've been to London recently. Sonia insists on seeing her friends there, so her mom finally agrees to take them to London and Paris. When she asks if Ray is okay with this, he remains distracted and says he was just checking on something after school. They continue eating, and his mom concludes she'll start planning their trip. The next morning, Gift is late to school again, and this time, the teacher is furious, threatening to take her to the principal and cancel her scholarship. Ray immediately stands up and speaks up for her, explaining that Gift is an excellent student and might be going through challenges. The teacher dismisses him and asks Gift if she's struggling, but she denies it. The teacher tells Ray and Gift to sit down, and she thanks Ray quietly. Later that day, Gift is sitting outside eating alone when Ray approaches and asks to be her friend. She refuses, saying they come from different worlds. After class, everyone came outside, including Sharon, Ray, and Sonia. Gift was running with her head buried in her books and accidentally bumped into them, causing her to fall. Ray tried to help her up, but Sharon was disgusted by her presence and warned Ray not to help her again. Ray became angry at Sharon's reaction, and she told him to go wash his hands and walked away. Shortly after, Sonia also left, leaving Ray alone. Later in class, Gift fell asleep, and some students began bullying her, putting paper in her clothes and ears. Ray walked in, and the bullies tried to hurry back to their seats, but he stopped them. Gift woke up, and Ray made them apologize. They did so and returned to their seats, and Gift thanked Ray. Ray then asked if she wanted to go out, but she refused and left, leaving Ray confused. On their way home, Ray and his sister saw Gift walking. Ray asked his sister if they could give her a ride, but Sonia refused. Ignoring her, Ray asked the driver to stop and pleaded with Gift to get in the car. Gift refused, saying he should leave her alone and stop being nice to her, as she doesn't want to be his friend. She left, leaving Ray frustrated. The next day at school, Sonia told Sharon what had happened, and Sharon became angry. She decided to find out where Gift lived so she could teach her a lesson. The next morning, Sharon and her friends discovered where Gift lived. They went to her place, caused a commotion, and warned her to stay away from Ray. They even poured her beans cake on her, making her cry as they left. The following day at school, Sharon saw a bag containing food, juice, and a small note on her desk. She realized that Ray had left it for her along with some money, which she quickly hid so no one would see. She then ate the food he provided. That night, Sharon was at home, counting the money, when she remembered that the doctor had told her that her mother's eye surgery would cost 6 million naira. She felt worried, wondering how she could raise the money. The next morning, after returning from her business, Gift was surprised to see Ray at her house. She asked if he was stalking her, then dragged him to a corner, asking what he was doing there and how he knew where she lived. Ray explained that he was amazed and motivated by her. She was only 16 and already taking care of her family. Gift asked him to leave, saying she didn't want trouble, but Ray insisted he wouldn't leave until she accepted his friendship. Eventually, she agreed, and they walked out together. He asked for her phone number, but she didn't have a phone, so he promised to get her one. He told her he would visit again tomorrow before leaving. Just as she was heading home, her siblings told her that their mother was calling for her. Unfortunately, she then spotted Sharon, Sonia, and their friends. She tried to run, but they were too fast and beat her and her siblings. She managed to escape. It was so cruel. People shouldn't be treated this way. When school started, Gift didn't come, and Ray couldn't concentrate because he was worried. That night, he went to her house and called out, but no one responded. The next morning, Ray went to Gift's business and tried to talk to her, but she ignored him completely, packing up her goods to go home. Ray followed her, pleading with her to get in his car, but she ignored him. He got out of the car, but she continued walking away. He even went to her house and knocked until nightfall before heading home. When he got home, his sister asked where he had been, but he didn't answer. She accused him, saying, "So you went to see that lowlife girl, the one who sells beans cake?" This made Ray suspicious, and he asked how she knew about the bean cake business. She denied knowing, and Ray threatened her. Ray then went to Sharon's house to confront her. They argued and he left, saying, "This is not the Sharon I grew up with." The next day at school, Ray spoke to Gift, pleading with her, but she told him she no longer wanted to be friends and wanted things to go back to how they were before. She walked away as Ray called after her. Later that day, Gift came home from the market and saw food supplies. When she asked who brought them, her mother said it was Ray. Gift was upset, telling her mother she shouldn't have accepted them, and went inside. That same day, Ray was about to go out when his sister stopped him, saying he hadn't spoken to her in days. Ray told her he was disappointed in her for supporting such unkind behavior and walked away, ignoring her attempts to apologize. The next day at school, Sharon tried to talk to Ray, but he ignored her. She asked if he was upset because of that poor, filthy girl. Ray replied, "The only thing that stinks now is your attitude. Fix it." Sharon went inside, embarrassed. Meanwhile, Sonia was standing by the staircase with a menstrual stain on her uniform. She tried calling Sharon for help, but couldn't reach her. Gift saw her and asked if she needed help, but Sonia refused. Gift offered to get a pad for her, but Sonia still declined. Gift immediately took off her cardigan, covered Sonia with it, and reassured her she'd be back, surprising Sonia. The next day at school, Sonia returned Gift's uniform, thanked her, and apologized for all the pain she had caused. She promised it wouldn't happen again, and Gift forgave her. As Sonia walked away, Sharon saw her talking to Gift and left angrily. Sonia called out, but Sharon ignored her. So Gift forgave Ray, and they are friends again. He helped her with her business that day. She had a lot of fun. The next morning, Ray came to Gift's house and brought the phone he had promised her. At first, she refused, but he encouraged her not to be afraid, and she eventually accepted and thanked him. That same day, Sonia went to Sharon's house to talk to her, but Sharon was rude. Sonia apologized for being seen with Gift, explaining that she was only returning the uniform Gift had lent her during her period. This made Sharon even angrier. She insulted Sonia, calling the uniform dirty. Frustrated, Sonia shouted back, asking what was wrong with Sharon and pointing out that Gift didn't deserve such hatred. Sharon, upset, told Sonia to leave and ended their friendship. From that day on, Gift started riding with Ray and Sonia, as Sonia had accepted her as a friend. Meanwhile, Sharon watched them with jealousy and pride. Unfortunately, before Ray and Sonia could get home one day, Sharon had already arrived and fed their mother some misleading information about Ray. Ray and Sonia came home to find their mother furious, accusing Ray of taking hard drugs. Shocked, Ray denied it, but his mother searched his bag, found the planted drugs, and was deeply disappointed. She took his phone and restricted him. Ray and Sonia confronted Sharon, knowing she was behind this, but she left before they could say anything. Later that day, Sonia visited Gift and explained that Ray was on restriction, promising to tell her everything. They left together. Sonia then called Sharon, pleading to make peace and be friends again. Sharon agreed, and Sonia invited her to come over. Just like that? Let's see what happens next. That evening, Ray and Sonia sat down with their mother and explained all that had been happening, including how Sharon had beaten up Gift and her family. Their mother was shocked, and they decided to find a way to prove it to her. When Sharon arrived, she was surprised to see Gift. She scolded Sonia for bringing her, but Ray explained that they had invited her. Furious, Sharon accused Ray of not learning his lesson even after being framed. Their mom overheard everything and confronted Sharon, expressing her disappointment and saying that this wasn't the Sharon she knew. She decided to inform Sharon's mother about her behavior, and Sonia asked Sharon to leave. Before going, Ray asked Sharon to apologize to Gift, but Sharon refused, calling her this thing and stormed out. Ray's mom, now convinced, promised to report Sharon's actions. The next morning, Ray's mom called Sharon's mom to explain everything. Sharon's mom was shocked. She then called their house help, Betty, to ask if Sharon had ever mistreated her. Betty hesitated but eventually confirmed the truth. Sharon's mother was deeply disappointed, apologizing to Betty. Sharon's mother went to her room to reprimand her, expressing her disappointment and assigning consequences. Sharon would now have to do her own chores, walk to and from school, skip vacation, and lose access to her phone and earbuds. Sharon cried and pleaded, but her mother remained firm. The next morning, Ray and his mother took Gift's mom to the hospital for her eye surgery. The operation was successful, and everyone was overjoyed. Gift gratefully thanked Ray's mother for everything. The next morning, they all went to a new apartment and were surprised when Ray's mom told them they owned it. They were overjoyed and expressed their gratitude, even wanting to kneel down, but Ray's mom stopped them. She then mentioned that since Gift's mom has an OND, she could come work at her company, where a position was available. Gift's mom happily accepted, feeling more joyful than ever. Wow, just like that, their lives had turned around. God truly works wonders. From that day forward, they continued their lives in happiness. Ray and Gift grew closer and stronger, studying and spending time together, and Gift's joy never faded. Thank you for watching this amazing story in my world of movies. Please don't forget to subscribe to this channel for more interesting and educational stories. See you in our next movie.